Welcome to my channel. My name is Avree and you may call me ReeRee. Now today I will be discussing how some persons try to destroy me after I built on family land and how my own mother actually disowned me. I'll also be discussing the fate they suffered after they did all of this to me. Throughout this time, it was very difficult for me because I had set myself up in my life. I was comfortable with where I was. I had just finished the renovations on the house. I had just purchased my car. I had just got my brand new furniture, and I felt whole and I felt complete. Now, because of all the torment, because of all the fatigue, because of all the annoyance, the problems, the lack of peace, I decided to leave. And of course, you know that I've been very transparent on this channel that when I left, I suffered an even far more worse fates by going into an even worse predicament by building on my spouse's family land. So, you know, from frying pot, jumping out of the frying pot to go into the fire. Very foolish. But what I'll be focusing mainly on is what transpired, why I left, how I left. Like I said, the fate that they suffered after doing these things to me. And you know, you'd call it karma. Don't know if their karma has ended or it's just gonna continue. But I'll definitely be giving you insight as to how this all went down. Now, as I mentioned before, the reason why I left is because my mother made it extremely difficult for me to live there. She would just not leave me alone. And of course, the females around the back, they were loud, they were nasty, they were selling you know what. Overall, the persons there were just a big fat no, and I found them to be insufferable and it was unbearable, and so I definitely ran away and I was just like, no, I'm not doing this. So imagine after setting up myself in life, feeling whole, feeling complete, and I was okay, and it just seemed like the fact that I set myself up and I was ready to now thrive in life, not just survive, because I felt like at that stage I had passed the survival stage and I was beginning to thrive and I was just living peacefully, unbothered. But the more they observed my peace is the more they sought out to destroy it. And so at the time I felt like I was losing everything. I felt like my whole life was falling apart because I realized that I'm not going to be able to live here and be comfortable. At some point it really felt like they were working together, and so it was extremely difficult. It was extremely difficult to start over because I had given my all to the renovations at that house. And that house, like I mentioned before, it is shared between me and my mother. It is shared ownership. It's not a case where me I catch or not like that. I invested my money, etc. I did my part, all of these things. But that's not what we're discussing. We're discussing how the whole shebang played out. Like I said, they got their karma. So obviously they wanted me to leave, and I did leave. Now, while I left, like I said to you, like I mentioned before, it seemed like they banded together. It seemed like what was once a home, once what was my home, turned into a big ghetto, big yard. I mean, it was like a brothel. If you don't know what a brothel is, it's a WHORE house, a house that transactions are paid for, actual transactions are paid for. It was just filthy, nasty. It just was the whole thing of what it was before, that peaceful zen type of vibe that I like, was just changed out into nastiness, complete nastiness, chaos and madness. When I say madness, I mean people are sell, people are buy, people are get beaten, people are fight, people are play dirty music. It was just definitely not what it was. A complete change out of decency and peace to chaos and nastiness and basically evil. You know, for the stranger part of it, they were actually quite comfortable based off what I was observing. And like I said, I left and I went back to do some business, and I'm going to give more details as I go along in the story. But when I saw the situation, it was catastrophic. I was very shocked. But like I said, that's what they've always wanted. So what we have to understand is that evil does not like cleanliness, does not like peace, does not like righteousness. And so once there is cleanliness where evil is going to try to fight out the cleanliness. So it is important to note that they banded together after I left. So it might be fair to say or safe to say that they might have been banding together before I left in order to encourage me to leave, if that makes sense to you. So as I mentioned on this channel before I went there to live, it was abandoned. No amenities, nothing. After I moved in, it was clean, it was nice, it had water, it had electricity, it had furniture. It was just quite homely, like I said, clean and peaceful. And after I moved in, I found that a lot of relatives in the family wanted to come and live with me. As I told you, it was a 3-bedroom house. Now at that time it was new and people did not really understand the flow of authority, so to speak, because it started out as a family house for my grandparents. My grandparents passed. Now, before my grandparents passed, my mother is a mason, still is a mason, and so what she would do from early on is do a lot of mason work on the house. And so, by the time they passed, my mother had done quite a large portion of mason work and had invested quite a bit of money. And then by the time I got of age and was able to afford, I also contributed quite a bit to the the construction and the materials, etc. And so based off that kind of thing, and I was also doing other responsibilities as well, that of which I won't get too deep into. And so by that time it would be safe to say that I would definitely had authority or shared authority with my mother. And so it was just so strange because even family members that I never met wanted to come there. And so it became like a big deal. The house became like a big deal. Hey, me tell you this, family land are nice. As you hear me tell you no, don't run up in a family land or run up in a family house because people is crasses. You see, people who work this and accomplish nothing. People, even the one they would think them, they think they are fine and alright. Jamaica is one of the easiest places to live and the nicest places to live and the more comfortable place to live, because when you live in other countries, you have to pay bills. Jamaica is so hard. You can pick things off a tree, you can do this, you can do that. But I digress. So right, once I lived there, people just started to want to live there, and I had to tell them no, it not works. So this is my home, this is my safe haven. I don't know you, I don't share place with people, I don't live with people, I don't do them something there, I don't do roommates. No, I like a clean space. I can't share a bathroom with a strange man. You understand? Yes, you are my relative, but genuinely I don't know you. So this concept of home, safe haven, protected space, peaceful space, all of these things, my mother does not understand the concept, or did not. I don't know if she's learned now, but at the time she did not understand the concept. And so when I left, she had all manner of people in the house, some substandard people. Now, one of which was a group of young men who had done bad things and were actually hiding, and she allowed them to hide in the house. Madness. So by doing that, you could definitely understand that she does not respect the space as a home, as a house. No concept of really understanding the nature of home or house or a protected space or a safe space or a haven. And like I said before, you could see this even before when I mentioned to you that when I was there and it was my home, she fought against it. And so the same mentality carried on even when I left, and that's how even strangers, non-family people that no one knows, they were living there for a while. Now imagine the audacity of having strangers and prostitutes in my bedroom, a place where I spent X amount of money on, a place where I'm making sure that everything is straight legally, etc. Definitely I wanted them gone, like for certain, especially because in that time I was conducting business. And again, you can see where I keep mentioning my mother does not respect certain things. She does not understand certain agreements. She just doesn't understand certain principles and principalities of life. You understand? We all know that evil people carry evil spirits. Your home is to be spiritually protected because you can't have anybody in and out of the house. That's one aspect, because people come with them crosses and them bagga. That's the first aspect. The next aspect is that is my money that I spent. Like I said, I did leave it, but the mere fact that you know in your head as a mother, so to speak, and as a woman, that not even as a woman, even as a stranger, I can't have certain kind of lifestyle. This house was not meant for that. Even long before my grandparents passed, they would have never accepted those kinds of things in the house, especially that now the house is livable. And so she had no respect for the money I spent. Disrespect all from the top come down, from back then till now is just utter disrespect, and it just made me consider what is really wrong with My mother. I mean, you have the responsibility of taking care of the house. That's what you always wanted. And now that you have the house to yourself, this is the madness that you do. Something alright. Now, why I was even back there, you may ask, is because I was conducting business nearby, and at the time, I believed it would have been more convenient to stay there while conducting my business since my business is nearby. And when I saw the physical filth, human feces, me I tell you about, the spiritual filth, the evil, the debauchery, of course, not. I wasn't gonna stay there, and so I did not. But I definitely felt offended, and I was like, the woman is serious. Like, what is your end game you're doing here? Like, what are you doing? Because at the end of the day, I think by law, if someone stays in your house longer than 3 months, legally you can't put them out. You have to go to the court. And really and truly, the people around the back had always been grudgeful and bad mind over the house. And the reality is that it is not them family house, it's not them family, and they're not land, they're not related to my grandmother, they're not related to, you understand me? They have no say there, but you know, family can be loving, family can be kind to a point, and so they allow them to live there, even knowing good and well that, you know, you're not related to the original owner. So my mother definitely did not understand certain things, and so I said to her, I even wanted to say to her, there's going to be a time when if you keep doing your foolishness, you yourself may not be even welcome there or even be able to live there comfortably, which she really doesn't live there. Even to this day, she doesn't live there yet. She's planning to move there, but for now, doesn't live there. No, I'm a person that I believe in principles and I believe in respect. So before I even went there to stay, I remember I went there for Christmas dinner, and I told her, like 2 Christmases before, so I said to her, I'm going to be doing some business and I'm going to be back to stay in my room, because like I said, I have to respect the fact that I left. I have to respect the fact that she may have, really and truly, I understand that she wanted the room, and that is like literally where she put her furniture, in my room. I didn't know that already, so that was never surprising to me. But out of respect, I said to her, I'm going to be staying there back and forth, and so I'm going to need my bedroom. And she said, no problem. So she was well aware of the fact that I was coming to do business. I didn't tell her the exact date because I myself did not know when, but I knew that eventually it would come to a point where I'd have to be going back and forth, and I'm not going to be able to do it every day. It would be best to do it, spend some time there, come back, etc. No, can you imagine, after I explained to these young men that you're going to have to leave, I'm going to give you 2 weeks to get yourself together, etc. Because, mind you, the situation is quite tender, so to speak, because the people them where I stay, they're hot. And by hot, I don't know if you know what I mean, but like I said, they're involved in bad things, people look for them, etc. So really and truly, them shouldn't go there in the first place, right? Mind you, yes, my mother has full say, I have some say, but we do have a decent people in the family, I believe, that may need assistance further down the line. So you're telling me you'd rather put strangers and somewhat of criminals or whatever the case is in the house, right? Anyway, after me tell them to me I give them 2 weeks. The people them tell me say me never put them there, so me can't put them out. Yes, my love. I said okay. So clearly my mother was being spiteful, right? Imagine I tell you I'm coming and whatever. You don't say to people, well, you know, my daughter comes to ReeRee. None of that. No regard for what I want, no regard for the fact that I'm your daughter, no regard for the fact that legally I pay money, I do this, she don't care. It was just selfish on her part and backstabbing. No, when I told the people about, you know, where I stand and who I am and the say I have in the house, them say no, I'm gonna spend the money, because my mother say I'm gonna spend the money. I lie me I tell. So I say, oh, she had chat me, which is, as I say, expected, as I should stay, rain and fall. So it is raining heavily, kind of eased down now, but I'm just in my car temporarily because I really want to get this video out, so please bear with me. So where was I? Yes, so she basically was discussing me, her own daughter, with these people, and she was spewing a lot of lies. Like I said, for whatever reason, liars love to lie on me. I don't know is what so, but also. So, right, definitely betrayal on her part, definitely backstabbing, but I'm not surprised. So, seeing that they have this narrative, no, I guess in that aspect, I probably really could not blame them because that's what they're told, and really and truly, it is her house, right? And if that's what she's saying, you know, whatever. So, what I ended up having to do was go to the seniors in the family. Remember, they know everything was going on. So like I said, I remember everything. It was a Wednesday I spoke to them. I spoke to them, I think, on a Wednesday night, and I gave them 2 weeks. By the time I spoke to the seniors in the family, they were gone by Friday. So I gave them 2 weeks. The seniors gave them 2 days. And yes, before Friday 12 o'clock, they were gone. Hasta la vista. So that is just to show you how my mother operates. That is to show you how they move. And so I can just imagine how many people they have told this narrative about, you know, what I have done from what I have not done. That's why I keep telling people, do not build on family land. Don't go catch up with the family people. Just start fresh and scratch. The feeling of owning your own space, the independence, the freedom, the peace of mind, the safety, the happiness, the joy. It is all worth it. We have some family that is worse than strangers. It will be better to heal, forgive, and move on. And by the way, when I was speaking to the young men, them spicy, you know, because them are really there on the narrative, and I felt very disrespected. But like I said, this is the first little tips at karma, but it continues and it gets more intense. So you see clearly how far my mother is willing to go to spite me. Remember, I am doing business, important business to start myself. But she done shake me up already, you know. So the least I can do is just clear yourself. Let me do what I must. I'm not staying there because she knows I'm not staying there. I'm not moving in. I'm just saying I have some business. I'll be back and forth. Free up my room, free up my space. Yeah, and I make nobody go in there. And even if the room was freed up, no one could stay there because, like I said, they were nasty. All of that. Now remember, you know, she and the people around her back, more so she, because around her back, inside the house or inside the house. She is the reason why I left, mainly. Understand me? And when I left, I find myself over there so with them, the demon, they in a more pasa. So it's like she does not care. And here I am, back with her in the same space, in the environment again, and she's back at it again. Saying also, lady just never did like me from Martin. Never did, and possibly never will. Gets worse. No. Along with those young people, young men that were in the house, she had a grandniece there staying in the house as well. Tell you, know, big yard. No, remember, I would not know anything that's going on at the house because, like I mentioned before, I don't live there, so I am unaware. And note, it's very important to note that these people, the grandniece and all them people there, I do not claim them as my family. I denounce them as my family, and I reject all of their demonic activities that they have been doing in their lives. I don't support it. I don't entertain it. I'm not a part of it. So I definitely denounce them in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ because I'm not good as with them. I have nothing to do with them. I denounce them fully. And as the video progresses, you'll understand why. And I have warned my mother many times about these people. They're not safe. You understand me? If you live with dogs, you shall resist with fleas. Right? So remember I told you I had business to conduct. So I definitely did not want to spite my face by cutting off my nose. So one night, take up my nose and say, I'm going to go back in the bedroom and go sleep. The female was there, grandniece, and she have man and she have kidney and she have men and she have whatsoever. She have, along with her bag of demon them and her to put them a walk with. First thing first, obviously I'll be there with my spouse. I really and truly I'm a spouse business. Only I facilitate him to a point. When, first thing first, I don't know why now. Where's the specimen? The specimen, and that is me being respectful. Would walk naked in the house and my man in there. Right there, so. The next thing, all of them love nice. And me as a person, I value my sleep, I value my peace. Nice. They on phone all night with people, phone upon speaker, baby a ball, all them something, them me not join them policy there. Me not like it. Right? I know she have her main man whatever come over. All them something there. Alright, so remember me put her, remember the first time when they took out the people out of the house, they say it's not me put them there, so I can't put them out, in which I did get rid of them. Many people told my mother, seniors in the family, people out the road, stranger dog, post everybody tell her, so look here, do not put that specimen in the house. Them tell her, them warn her, right? You never know. I hear me ear and me know say I true for true. She said no. Alright. So I spent the one night there and I spoke to what would have been my mother. And I said, look here, this person may need to leave. Initially, my little youth and said, no, you have to come out and she have to stay because I'm not put her. Say no, I leave. Okay, I leave. Fine. I leave and start do my business. I find other means always because I want thing with me the Lord will provide. So I say I like problem or whatever, you know. One thing with me, I smell problem way before it happens. I take on myself. Okay, fine. So even after I left, I was conducting my business, right? Remember, I'm tell you, I start up myself independent myself, but I'm a little thing I deal with. You don't know, so my time, them as a life go. I do a little thing I have to do when I want to do. I'm going to space when I want to go. Car. And I'm leave her. That was not enough for my mother. The woman cuss. She love cussing and she love disrespect me in a crowd. I have said that on this channel before. She loves to disrespect me. She love cuss all them something there. The lady say, embarrass me, no? The lady say, oh, furthermore, she have no daughter. Me, Avree Alexa Watkins, me. I must take her name off of my birth paper because she's not my mother and she don't have no daughter, a two son alone. She have. Mind you, I was never the one to put her name on my birth paper. I can tell you this. If I didn't mean to put it there, it didn't go in the first place. I should be young and did newborn. I never have no sense. I never have the means to do it because I'm a newborn. But if I did me, there's a chance that it would have never been there in the first place. And the woman go on bad. The woman tell lie to her teeth them and the woman go on bad. The woman go on bad. I say, Miss Harris, I never have more evidence to tell you about. Take my word for it. I say it go for true. What people really did it. She go with herself, go with herself, go with herself. You understand me? I remember saying, I'm come out of the place and leave her to her people, them, you know, and whatsoever. Anyway, people hear about it, family members, people in the community, everybody hear about it and them talk to her. But, you know, she move wrong and strong because, as I say, I don't know if she have a mental disorder. I don't know. But it was really ridiculous. And like I said, I did feel a way too because, you know, I'm not in her space. I move and go and go face my background over this with them, the people over this. So still have my demons that try for back out and my challenges. I try to do everything. All them people over this way I fight for the next house was fixed up over this again. So it was a bit much for me. And one of the things is that the business that we were doing is what we would depend on to elevate us further. So sister, it's like between a rough and a hard places. Either we stay and tough it out or we leave and just stuck with them, the people over the other side. So it was very, without giving too much away, we had to really buckle down and push through. Definitely. So like I said, pack up my things them, put them in my car and ship out, and just make do with what I had and went where I was, went to my own place. It wasn't ready yet, but I do what I have to do. I'm gonna do my thing and why do the thing I've been doing our thing, right? So set up yourself, set up the place, and you know we're pushed through and we're doing well. You understand that the conditions were not ideal, far from ideal, but we did what we had to do. And like I said, this is a new project we're working on. I don't know, I think it was like 2 weeks after. You're gonna tell you how karma work, tell you how Father God work. No, I remember I was using my toilet where the project is being done. Quite early, before 7 o'clock, because sun barely come out. Nice to come on and sun come out and the bathroom, I see my phone ring on. I share a call, but I never did answer, so I did not. I see the call them come in like consistently, like I said, no, sir, what is? Okay, I'm answer just to see, you know, I'm not evil, you know, so I answer. Upon answering, my uncle hear somebody bawl out frantically. Avree, them guys never beat me off up here and me want a house, they want to take me out, so they never beat me off. So I need to tell them, lady, how much time until I say I can't trust them. Yeah, there was some people, so they are told, and the people them ship them from out of town and say they never will come here, them can't go back there. What more you want? You understand? Them nasty, them thief, them tell lie, them do them that. Everything when to do, them do it. Everything when them know, them say yes. And everything when them yes, them say no. Why would you know? Hug up these people, have these people in your space, put these people over me, your own child. My husband saying like me, but I'm not telling you anything wrong. Those people are not to be in your space, and now you see why I do not deal with them. So them friend her up and then trick her, make she turn against me, in which she really does not need them to turn against me. So I will say that truthfully. But they boosted her to turn against me because of the house them want. The fix up house, tile up house, pretty house, nice bedroom, paint up. Yeah, I eat them want. Because how them find themselves in there? When I used to live there, my love, them have to walk past the house and held them head straight. Them have to hold them head straight. Not even on the veranda when I really could have sit down pan. I don't play like that. You have to respect your space that you're in. It is your space. Respect it as such because it shelters you from rain, sun, homelessness, a place to lay your head, eat and drink, safety. You understand me? You live there. That's your home. Even if you don't live there, like to say whatever, but when everything else hits the fan, that is where that's where you're going to go. Especially in your big senior years. You understand me? Why you gotta have thief and criminal and something, right? Let me tell you how it go now. Said, I don't stay there. Now apparently there is a broom. Half of the broom belong to one, half of the broom belong to the other. So one on the stick, one on the little brush part. I don't know who on the part there. No. I remember when the whole argument went down, she actually asked me to come back and I said, I go back because I can't bother. You disrespect me and Ray and T and I said the girl have to come out. The girl have to come out. Every day she soon go. I say, yeah, when she go it still because she shouldn't have been there in the first place. And I was starting to get annoyed because she thought about say, oh, she have to stay and you have to go and all them something. They may say, no, see, I real, you understand? Anyway, so I tell her, I say, alright, I'm going to come back but my room dirty, so sweep it. Whatever. Just get her some fold and pan at the time. So look at she took up the broom and I sweep it. Now, before the sweeping argument, no, it's like some issue was happening and they run back and get it together like how they normally get it together. And while they were gathering and talking, my mother must go ask one question about the female who was staying at the house, our grandniece. The grandniece came out and say, I don't want to ask nothing about my business. So because of the pressure that people in the family have been putting on my mother plus me myself to have been saying have the girl leave the house, she turned on to the girl and say, come out of my house. In which you know say at this point no one is going to take her seriously because whatever, you understand me? So remember she them manipulate her and chat them personal business and all them something. So even and they really didn't warrant it because that simple saying I don't want her in my business and you go say, oh, come out of my house. Who would take that seriously? Anyway, so my mother walked off and she began to sweep my bedroom, right? But don't say my bedroom that. So I'm thinking something to the likes that she did not want her portion of the broom to sweep my room. Yes, people can be petty. And so she said to my mother, she said, give him a broom because the stick belongs to me or vice versa, the stick or the brush. So my mother being my mother said to her and say, mad girl, love man come out of my house no? Love me, you know the sense? So the girl looked by my mother and say, we are saying in a sense in a girl school. In reality, mother did got hard for true. She have her secretarial certificate and she have her masonry certificate in her real life. So that did out hard for true. But anyway, I said cuscus na bring good with my love. Because me want her. Everybody want her. So after she say yeah, after saying nonsense kind of gone to school, my mother say, you still there? Look here, girl. You're not come out. Just come out. Anyway, them continue, and the female says to my mother say, furthermore, you can't put me out because I'm a grandfather house. Now mind you, if you're a grandfather, would have been my mother brother. Remember, I tell you, I'm a grandmother house, I'm a grandmother, but not even the house, the property originally belonged to my grandmother, and my grandmother name, my grandmother and a family. So you know, so that touch a can't open my mother, that it a nerve, and she not have no nerve for it, you know. And she said, furthermore, your chun big like half a tree. So my mother say, half a tree, alone, I'm to cross with and don't do. Mad people. So anyway, and she kept saying, yeah, you can't put me out because my grandfather house. So you see the little annoying and remember I said my mother know the history, you know. My mother know the history. She knows that people have been warning her that you should have not allowed this person in the house. She knows that this person has no biological relation to the natural owner. She knows everything. She knows when the construction. Mama tell us something. So when the little house is start build, me and my cousins, my biological cousins now, the real cousin them, one block, even a little 1 gallon paint pan, a son, we have to carry. The history goes very long. So for somebody when you know about nothing, tell us you can't put me become a grandfather house. Girl, if your father been, if your grandfather passed from me a pitney. So that like father, grandfather don't even know if grandfather don't come a house, come look at house, grandfather don't last. She don't know nothing. So the constant nagging now, you know, so my mother whop her with a piece of broom and broke up the broom in her face. So they broke when the broom broke up in her face now. She got choked by my mother and them start to WWE wrestle. And you know it go already. Kicking, fighting, thumping, turn up in her throat, all them lovely things there, my love. And I was like, so what this have to do with me? Anyway, she said them a beat her up. So of course, with myself, I go see if I can see if she's okay. I go check on her. Because, you know, I'm tell you this, I don't want nobody use me as no bully. Because I did tell you already. But as I say, it is my mother and I figured I need to go and see if she's okay. Because bad to bad, 4 of them and I want to she are it's tough, but really and truly I would not want them to really harm her, to be honest. But a karma, because you could have saved them couple in your face and you head on them, something the way she said she give you. She said she never give her, them said she never give her, which I'm not going to lie, my mother seemed to be fine, but she did look like one car drive over her for true. Because in reality, she's short, my mother is taller than me, I am 5'6", and she lays at least 100 blocks every single day. So it's not an easy fight to say go fight she in a real life. So me no say girl get trampled, but whatever. And so what happened afterward is that when them call police, guess what them send the police? Don't have me place where me there. Me love. You know me laugh. And the police them send so happen to be my acquaintances. So whatever. Send police for me. I mean the house, I know about fight, I know like what is this about. You understand me? So after the police come or whatever, according to them, because I'm tell you how it go now. So when she beat off the people them you know, her grandniece and whatsoever, she throw out the something them. And them say the something them value $20,000, which I don't say a lie because the mattress did well peep it out. Yeah, smell bad. Maybe really not value not even 100,000, but whatever. And they were pressing and they were saying I'm gonna arrest her and sue her and this and that. And she said, okay then, let us see if you're gonna sue me and have your generation live on my property. Alright, they say it there. Continuing now. After the fight run off, no one, everybody I find out oh it go for true and if she's gonna pay $300,000 and whatever the case is. When this came up now, mind you, other things happened in between. But when this came up now, the constant calling the police and everything now, it reached a point where it was revealed that the house was never in their father and our grandfather and our great-grandfather's name. It was in my grandmother's name. And that means you're squatters. And as a result, they were told to leave. And as a result, they realized that they had no legal claim to the property. And they were also quite nervous because, as I said, the seniors in the family don't play and they know how to deal with these kinds of matters. The reason why I say I'm probably not going to look on my mother is because them tell her many times over and over again, don't have people in the house, don't have strangers in the house, don't have that they sit there in the house. You shouldn't have had her in the house in the first place, but no, she must go. And they know that she said I have to go and she has to stay. Now, these are the things that happen in life. God does not play about his anointed. He does not play about his chosen. I am not rejoicing in the fight. I'm not rejoicing that people might be homeless. I'm not rejoicing in any of that. All I'm simply saying is this. When you do wickedness for a long time, you might think you will get away with it. But sometimes karma takes 10 years, sometimes it takes 1 year, sometimes it comes down for your next generation. You have to be careful of what you do to people. You say, oh, them suffer me and bother me. My head is still reeling. I'm still recovering. I'm still working hard. I'm still putting in the work. I'm still starting over. I'm still doing many things. I have not recovered fully yet since all the destruction that they have done to me, they destroy my life. I'm still putting the pieces back together. And so do you think that you just do it and walk away unscathed? It does not work like that. You understand me? This thing is an ongoing thing like that one day. And them are going to face it. All of them. Because here what happened now. I'll tell you the scripture from the Bible. So Ecclesiastes chapter 8 verse 11 to 13. Because the sentence against an evil worker is not executed speedily. Therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. That simply means because evil people have been doing evil for so long, and because, like the Bible says, The sentence against evil is not executed speedily, meaning karma doesn't come back to you same time. It takes a little time. It says the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil because they've been doing it so many times for so long and they keep getting away with it. They think they have actually gotten away with it and they will never pay the penalty of doing wicked or wickedness. Though a sinner does evil 100 times and his days are prolonged, yet I surely know that it will be well with him. It will be well with those that fear God, who fear before him. But it will not be well with the wicked. But it will not be well with the wicked, nor will he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he does not fear before God. It's not going to be well with you. So if you do wickedness for 20 years, it will not be well with you for 21, 22, and 23, and 24 years. It will not. That is the reality. And so the yard that they enjoyed, that they conducted their prostitution rings in, where them man beat them in, where them do this and do that in, where them thief of the woman suck them out her farm and all them something there, right? It was never yours, but because of the goodness of the grace of God, you were able to live there for umpteen of years. And the one time you took it for granted, the family was like, no, let me tell you what happened now. After the fight, and like I said, they called the police. It was not revealed immediately whose name the property was in. It wasn't revealed because it's just something that people don't talk about. I mean, them was relatives of my grandfather and so forth, and people vouched for them many years ago. And then what happened, it was just one of them, then it became three of them, then they started to have children. It's like a whole ghetto, right? No, because there was so much animosity between my mother and them, and they have to walk through the yard back then. They used to walk through the yard and malt and malt meat and all them something there. One of them guilt and say, my grandmother's name is Gwendolyn, call her Miss Gwenny. One of them guilt and say, I don't know what started the arguments, but more than likely it's because the mother told them to leave and them just feel like say, shouldn't have no say. I don't know what is it, because they've been there for so long, they misunderstood the hierarchy of authority. That is it. Them get comfortable. You understand? Them get tame, as we Jamaicans would say. And so one of them, in the argument, one of them gave out and said, Liar girl Gwenny, tell lie pa me make me go home. Liar dirty girl Gwenny. My poor granny was dead 10 years now, more than 10 years now. My grandmother passed and gone. My grandmother would never even whisper to she own land, never tell nobody she own land. My grandmother put stranger upon land after everybody tell her not do it. My grandmother vouched for Uno. You go tell my mother that my mother, according to her, she looked after their birth certificates. She helped them, she gave them food for them, all them something there, and them turn around and spit in her face, basically, verbally, right? And I tell her, I say, look here, you lay with dog, you rise with fleas. I do not deal with them. I do not acknowledge them. I do not speak to them. And one reason I even talk about them is because it's a part of my story and my experience. But when I listened to what was transpiring and I heard about it and I realized it was true, I said to myself, my God, people have no limits. When people don't understand how life works or how things work or the operation under which you must behave, you understand? People not going to tell them business. If me have something, I'm not going to tell you I have something. If me have something, I'm not going to tell you. If I have something planned for you, I'm not going to know. Because my mouth shut. The mere fact that I am quiet through all of this, or people quiet, or even other seniors in the family are quiet, it does not mean you have a say. Because remember, you had to ask permission to come there. So the same permission we asked must mean to say there's some kind of authority above you. So even if somebody fight you, or them fight your sister, or whatever the case is, you want to get up out of your head now, come tap us a liar girl going, are you crazy? Are you insane? And so the people were like, no, enough is enough. Come off. Go on. Of course, one and two degenerates would pick up for them, but it is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? And so when it was revealed, finally, that it was actually in my grandmother's name, them eat them SHIT, sorry for say it, so but that's true. And I saw it go. You cannot do wickedness favor, even think you get away. One day must come, and if you don't get it, your children shall get it. And pray say you have children, because if you don't have children, you'll get the whole light. You understand me? God does not play about me. God does not play about his children. I am blessed. I am sanctified. I am highly favored. I sit down and I watch everything I brought down with them. Even when I was living there, I was like, oh, I can do this and I can do that. I'm going to leave it because at the end of the day, I don't fight with people, Even as much as I went through everything, as much as them destroy me, I'm still building back. I do not fight with people because I firmly believe that God has got this. He has me and where I am covered. I did not know. I still am not quite sure where the journey will go for me. I don't know what the purpose of. I know the foolishness, I know the foolishness and I accept it. And I don't know God's plan for me, but I trust it. people said trust the process, right? And since this has happened, I can tell you I have become stronger. I have learned more about life. I have learned the art of spiritual warfare. I'm gonna play with from morning I play with people, but you say no. Be careful. That's all I can say. So I firmly believe in the spiritual warfare. Remember, we fight against not flesh and blood, but powers and principalities in high places. So everything in the spiritual realm directly impacts the physical realm. So everything what you do in your life, it comes back down, it comes back around to you. Understand me? You have to be careful of the seeds you sow, because you will reap the sour fruits or the sweet fruit. Whatever you do in this life comes back to you. See what them torment me? I should want to leg on my belly and explain everything that is transpiring. No, but just know they are eating their fruits of the seeds that they sowed, and they are not good fruits. It's karma. Karma. So this is where I will leave you. For the people who have wronged me in this life, you may never know peace until you have wronged your rights against me. Right there, so. For the people who have wronged me, they may never know peace until they have wronged their rights. And that is where I leave you. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Please take care of yourselves.